All right, call me in order at 6:07. Stand for Pledge Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, did everybody look at the minutes for last month's meeting at December 7th?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
John Uhalski, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, have a second?
I'll second it, Stan.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes up. Veolia Water reports. Walter.
Okay. Monthly report for December 2020. All the permit parameters, monitoring requirements were in compliance. Just try to touch on some highlights here. Replaced a pulley wheel for the anoxic mixer retrieval hoist. Replaced a stray water valve on the thickener unit. Replaced damaged ceiling tiles that were ruined before the roof was patched over the office building area. Seems to be holding in the office area. In the back room, in the dewatering section, there's probably a few leaks still. Yeah. Replaced the damaged flexible electrical conduit for bar screen motor. You guys able to hear me okay?
No, can you turn it up a little while?
I don't know if I can turn it up. I'll try. Oh yeah, I can. How's that?
That's better.
Okay, good. Replaced the east contact chamber online. We shut down the west side and cleaned that out. That's the thickener reactor. There's some reverb. The thickener reactor drums, we inspected them. We found some damage. There's some cracks in all four drums. There's actually 6 drums, but 2 had been repaired a couple of years before I was here. So there's 4 of them that need repair. We had taken one of them out. I took it apart and took the section that needs repair and brought it up to JR Racing so he can take the damaged part off. I'll have to grind it off, and then he'll put a new band around it and weld it. It'll need some welding. So I don't have an exact cost yet, but I'm looking at maybe $1,000 a piece. And I got a price on a new drum, and they were like over $10,000 a piece. So I think we will repair. We had some divots in the concrete floor in the storage room and dewatering. We filled them in better.
Walter, on the drum replacement, so you're doing each one individually and replacing it and then taking the next one out? Is that how you're, is that?
Yeah, right. Well, we had one that was, must have been purchased years ago. It's a newer style. Doesn't work as well as the ones we have, but so we put that one in there while the other one's being repaired. And then once that one is repaired, we'll take another one out and put the one that's repaired back in, and then we'll just keep swapping them out until they're all repaired.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, our last report, I had said that the return RAS check valves, they were, they needed some parts. There was corrosion in them. And so we bought the parts, we took it back apart, put the new parts in, and it's back in service, that pump. There's two other pump check valves that need to be parts replaced. I think I have the parts for them all now, so we'll be able to, as time goes on, replace those. Replaced the scraper blade on the automatic bar screen. We had Williamson pump come in. There was some faults on the PLC for the booster pump system. So they provided it. They repaired that. That bill may be in this package here. If not, it'll be next month. And we need a check valve and some butterfly valves and check valves. So I've ordered those. They should be coming in a couple weeks. The main foyer in the front here, the old tiles were all beat up and there was missing tiles. So we had Jim Callaghan had Nate Wilcox come in, and he removed all the linoleum tiles and he installed new vinyl plank flooring, and it looks 100% better. So, tower generator performed preventive maintenance on the main plant emergency generator. They all, in the next section, they also started doing the pump stations, which I think they'll hopefully finish them this week. To the collection system, we got called for backup at 12, possible backup at 12 Marie Drive. We checked the manholes. There was no backup in the street sewers. We did jet and clean the section on that road. It's an apartment complex, and it's probably more of a driveway than a road. So we did all the sections on that driveway, and the only thing we found was a small accumulation of rags and a small amount of wipes. In their basement, there was a small accumulation of rainwater and groundwater, and I talked to the property manager. I think it's something where their roof drains and clogging up, and it's backing up into their system. But it's not sewer. We pulled and cleaned the debris basket at Stop and Shop pump station. Replaced an oil dipstick on the emergency generator at Feeds pump station. We got called for another possible backup at 6 Seymour Avenue. Checked the manholes, no backup in the street. We cleaned from house number 2 up to 22. We found one big clump of roots, which may have been pushed in by some contractors that were working around there, replacing a lateral. And we had the snow, we plowed. Tower generator, did the emergency PMs. We inspected a DOT stormwater outlet along the Naugatuck River intersection near 313 and 67. We got a memo, and they were saying they sound like they want. I haven't talked to the woman yet. I've been trying to get a hold of her, but they were doing some testing there in 2019, and there was no flow at the time. And then they did it in 2020, and they got some numbers, and they got some E. coli and stuff like that. But I went there Thursday, I think it was, and there's no sewage or anything to do with sewage. It's probably just natural runoff, and E. coli could come from any warm animal. So it could be ducks, geese, dogs, I don't know. And they got some surfactants, so I don't know. But there's no sewer that's tied into it. Or I was worried that we had a broken sewer main and going into their outfall, and that's not the case. So, marked out manhole and lateral for 38 Cathy Drive, and marked out a manhole on Bungay Road. We did bloodborne pathogen training, 9,500 days of no lost time accidents. And I want to go to page number 3. We had sent out a pump from Titus Pump Station a while back to get a repair quote. So we've got the quotes. I think I sent them with the report. And there was 2 different scenarios if we wanted to repair it. One was we go with explosion proof, and one was non-explosion proof. Due to the fact that we may not have an intrinsic barrier in the electronics, we have to go with the explosion proof. So it would cost $8,398.50 to repair it, to make it explosion proof. And then we also have a quote for a new pump, and that was $12,895 for a new pump.
Does that include all the sealed conduit from the electronics to the pump and everything, or just the pump itself?
Well, the pump comes with the wires going out of the wet well, and then it goes into a box outside the wet well, outside the pump station. So
that's all got to be sealed conduit if it's explosion. If you're buying an explosion proof, if it's not intrinsically safe, right?
Right.
So that has to be closed conduit, sealed conduit.
Right. It's usually sealed going up until it gets out of the wet well, so that the gases can't come up into the electronics and into the wet well and into the pump station. I mean, into the box and into the pump station.
Yeah. The only other thing is put the right matching barriers in the non-hazardous area and wire down to the standard pump. But I don't think you want to. Well, I'm guessing you don't want to do that. Well,
no one's typically in a wet well when the pump's running usually, and you could maybe get away with it, but I don't think we ought to take that chance, safety wise. We don't go with the explosion proof and something happens, it's not good. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good scenario. So we're kind of forced to go with the explosion proof.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm looking at $8,398 for a rebuild, or $12,895 for a brand new pump. So it's more than 50% of a new pump. So I would say we need a new pump. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I guess I'm looking for a motion to pass to go ahead and purchase that pump.
It makes more sense, Walter. It's over close to 3/4 of the cost.
Yeah.
And it's probably 6
Yeah, I
years
agree.
old.
I'd make a motion that we buy a new pump.
All right, can I get a second?
Yeah. Huey.
John Yahalski, I'll second the motion.
Oh, yeah, sir. Yep.
Jimmy, could you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Nick.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I got in late.
Oh, okay.
One other thing on my end, two other things. The permit application we sent in, I don't know, can't even remember when it was months ago, and the state sent us a email last couple weeks ago, and they wanted our comments on it. So I talked to Jim and Mr. Oatley, and so they're adding cadmium to the permit, which wasn't on the permit before as far as testing. They're going to make it weekly testing, but this is just preliminary. It's a draft permit they sent me. So I responded back with asking them, okay, you added limits for cadmium, and it's going to be in kilograms per day for a monthly average limit of 0.005. So we'd like to know the rationale as to why cadmium limits were imposed and how those limits were determined. And the next one, I said, cadmium reporting units to kilograms per day were added. Why, explain why the cadmium reporting limits are in kilograms per day. Also, we would like them to, the temperature units, they want us to report it in Fahrenheit. We would like them to change it to Celsius. Since most of our equipment is all Celsius, we'd have to go out and buy all new stuff to report it to Fahrenheit. The anaerobic digesters, they had that in there for testing and stuff, and I said, you know, the anaerobic digesters were abandoned over 20 years ago. There's no past, current, or future analytical data report. There's nothing to sample. Just so that, you know, just so they're aware that, you know, we're not going to be reporting on it because there's nothing to report. They added, well, in the letter, it wasn't in the permit. It said dissolved organic carbon was mentioned in the email. However, there's no information in the draft permit giving direction to frequency of sampling. So I said, please advise. So I haven't heard anything back. Well, I talked to the woman last week, and she just wanted to know what we were using for phosphorus removal, and I told her we're using polyaluminum chloride. And so I haven't heard anything back since then, but I'm sure we'll hear something back. I don't know how soon, but we will hear something back. Any questions on that part?
No, almost up. Okay.
The R&M budget limit, we are at $28,724.49. And actually, that's not right. Okay, that's how much we spent up to November. Or I printed the wrong one. But we're like 5,000. I think we're $9,000 over. I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. I think we're $9,000 something over the $25,000 limit. So there are some more trailing costs that will fill up. So I can't finalize this probably until January or February, maybe even up to March before it's all settled in. So just to let you know, but I think we're around $9,000 something over that 25,000, which is pretty typical. I think usually we're somewhere in the range of $9,000 to $20,000 over the limit every year. So I think that's it for me, my part.
Walter Jonathan isn't here. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to John's. So we're looking at the income report. I think all of you probably have that. And just to go over that, we had $100 in inspection permits. We had $50 in contractor registration, sewer impact $800, sewer usage $37,906.44. So the total deposit was $38,856.44. And now I'll go to the financial report. The cash balance was $553,290.22. The reserve account was $1,069,259.39. Deposits were, you know, with the interest and everything, was $39,033.85, and all the bills and came out to $148,318.35. And John had needed a motion for quality data. Where are those quotes? All right. I'm not seeing it here, but I know where they are. Be right back. 1 second. Okay, so I think we got three quotes here, and he needs, this is for the assessment system. The first quote is $4,475 for annual relicense fee dash utility billing software. And then there's an annual software support fee utility billing module for $3,500. And then there's an annual hardware maintenance plan for $225. So that came up to $4,475 for that quote. The next one is $771.25. That's to process all the bills and mail them and insert all the envelopes, return envelopes, process file, fold, meter, insert, tray, strap, deliver, and postage. So that was $771.25. And then the last one is $525. It's a setup charge of $100. March printing and processing sewer assessment billing, $250. And April printing and processing sewer assessment billing, $175. So it comes out to $525. So John was hoping we could get a motion to approve all three of these. This is standard every year. We do have to do this.
Walter, the same company, you were just re-upping it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to go with that bid Walter has for that system?
John Uhalski, I'll make a motion to approve the system for Jonathan.
Okay. For quality data service.
Quality data. Yeah.
Can I was going to second the motion, but I was going to ask the question of what is there an upcharge from last year? I don't think I caught that. What is there? It's the same. Is it a different price from last year? What's the price from last year? Do you remember?
First is an annual. I don't have the last year's, and John is not out in here today, so I can't answer that exactly. But I'm pretty sure it's nothing new, is what I'm saying. What I believe.
It sounds close to what last year was, wasn't it, Walter?
That's what I'm saying. It sounds pretty close to what it was last year. And I know there was something else on here John had crossed out, which we said, okay, we don't need this and we don't need that. So that's why.
He just has a basic system for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Who's that, Don?
Bob, yep.
Okay. Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And the invoices, we'll tell you what you may have them. We have Veolia for $130,447.13. Mathis and Young for $435. For which parking lot layout, modify layout, show location of station. I think we're talking about South Derby Park. We're looking into expanding the parking area and possibly a generator area over there. Okay. Comcast, $269.57. Metro North Commuter Railroad, $42 for a pole/pipe wire. They must have had to replace something over there. Nate Wilcox to replace the floor, demo the floor and replace the floor, $2,300. Van Etten Plumbing, $390. That, I believe, is the men's urinal. new elbow solenoid clutch valve kit. So he purchased and installed that. Favor Electric that was for the VFD for the waste sludge pump, $1,240. The old one had failed and they replaced it. Ben sent his this afternoon. I'm looking at this right. The total amount is $750. And that's all for the bills.
That's it, as far as you can see?
Yep.
All right, Walter, could I get a motion to pay the bills today?
Yeah, this is Don. I'll make a motion that we pay the bills.
Okay, can I get a second?
This is Nick, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, John.
Chair votes aye. Okay, legal report.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Slow month in December. Mostly what we did was reached out to the owner of the Nickel Mine Drive property. Finally got hold of him. We talked, told him what we wanted to do. He would like to get, this moving as well. I sent him and Jim an email with the documents that we need him to complete. I did not hear back from him. I left him a message this morning. Did not hear back from him. So there's that's about the only thing that's out there at the moment. But other than that, it was a slow month. I think I don't know if John or Melissa is on the phone from Veolia, but we're moving forward with the online payment system. They're working on that, and I believe that should be operational by early February.
Yeah, this is Melissa from Veolia. You're correct,
Hi,
Ben. Hi, guys. We are on track. The terminals, quote unquote, how they communicate, the payments to Chase Bank and then to the town's banking center through deposits is almost set up, and we're starting testing of the site. So next I have to actually work with Jonathan and somebody at the town IT department so we can get the website actually up after I complete testing, hopefully this week. So I think by the first week of February, we'll be up and running, which is good timing before, your bills go out for April 1st.
Be routed through our website to your server, or I'm guessing it's going to come from.
Yeah, it's actually it's just a URL that's going to be posted, embedded in a button on the town's website, and it can be where we've discussed putting it in kind of a couple spots to queue up the payments, and then we'll do an insert, and some marketing as well on your April bills.
Great. Okay.
That should help out a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. If anybody has any questions, just let me know anytime.
And how's your testing going to run on that? Are you guys going to run a period of testing, or how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. We actually have some, quote unquote fake stuff right now to run through with fake credit cards and fake amounts. And then as soon as the terminals are live, the American Express one was completed the other day. And they're just working on the finalization of the Visa MasterCard. What we're actually going to do is deposit, for example, $30 into the town's bank account and then take $30 back. And that whole process can take, 4 to 5 business days on both sides. And then we'll be able to truly make sure the deposits go in and out.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'll have more definitely for next meeting. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
So Ben, you're all set?
Yep, that's it.
Jim Gallagher on the line?
Yes, I am, sir. How you doing tonight? How are you doing, everybody?
Hey, Jim.
Hope you're all doing well and safe, having a good new year. I have just a couple things, just like Ben. It was kind of a quiet month. I do have a meeting to be set up with the fellow over at Nickel Mine to go over and establish where we're going to put the check valve and the timing and so on. After that, we'll have to secure a contractor. I would plan on getting at least 3 quotes to be able to put in the check valve. As Walter had said, the floor in the foyer has been completed. I think it looks pretty nice, and it's definitely durable. It's got a 30-year commercial warranty, and he's also doing some work with some shelving there as well. And we continue to work on the capital improvement plan.
Any questions for Mr. Gallagher?
Jim, it's John.
Yes, sir.
Do the other pump stations have check valves on them?
The pump stations themselves are all fitted with check valves. This check valve would actually be in the homeowner's front yard, similar to what we did to a couple of the properties over on Manners Avenue to protect the individual property in case there's a backup. This guy's house is the last house before the pump station, and if there's any kind of a mechanical failure with the alarm system at the pump station, it can cause a backup into his property. So we want to put a check valve in his property. So the pump stations are all fitted with checks.
Well, I'm sorry. I meant any other houses. This is the only first one, or we have more?
Yeah, this one is a little bit of a unusual situation. He's right close to the pump station. The line is very flat in that area. The rest of the homes, if you go up the street, if you go up Nickel Mine, there's a fairly steep grade. So you'd be talking about probably surfacing through manholes before you had a problem with the next houses up.
Okay, thank you.
So Jim, the pump station will have a check valve and he'll have his own? Is that?
Yes, the pump stations have their own. They're all fitted with their own check valves that prevents the sewage in the force main from flowing back into the wet well. Yep. So, and then we're proposing, and we've done in other locations, putting a small individual check valve in his service lateral, so that if they do have another backup at the pump station, it won't cause flow to go back into his basement.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. He just has his own. Yep,
yeah.
He's also the lowest house on the street. So
and everything else is graded, so you don't have to do anything else.
He's actually, I think, he's probably even lower than the wet well, the top of the wet well. But the last backup was not anything to do with the pump station. It was due to a blockage in the manhole right outside his house. But unfortunately, where it blocked, his house was affected by it.
And that's all the items I have to report on tonight.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gallagher? That's it. Thank you, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Any new business? Any new business that everyone wants to bring up? No. And there's no executive session that I'm aware of, so I can get a motion for adjournment.
Yes, Don, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
John, I'll second it. John, I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hey, thank you, guys.